Hi, I'm Jason Neben, Director of Technology for the School of Education at Concordia University in Irvine, California. This video examines the barriers and attributes impacting the diffusion of online education at the institutional level. CUI is a small, private liberal arts university founded in 1972. Today, CUI is comprised of 5 schools serving about 4,000 students in arts and sciences, education, business, theology, and professional studies. About a decade ago, the university invested in an online course management system, and schools began to independently explore using the CMS to deliver online courses. John Randall explains.
So at Concordia, I would say that the adoption rate for online has been slow initially in the 10 years that I've been here. There have been certain departments that have actually embraced it and have taken off with it. And a good example is our Masters in Coaching and Athletic Administration. The others have been slow, and I would say to adopt. And I would say probably one of the main reasons is because there hasn't been any central administrative plan put forth to point people to.
The changing higher education marketplace necessitates institutions to strategically consider how to successfully enter the online market and the implications of such change. In 2013, Allen and Seaman report that nearly 70% of academic leaders view online education as critical to the long-term strategy of the institution. Consistent with this research, CUI has recently included an initiative to systematically expand online education as part of its strategic plan, and has allocated significant financial resources, such as hiring a new assistant provost, to support such development.
Well, I think since I started in my role as assistant provost of adult graduate and online learning in July 2013, so 5 months ago, and part of hiring me was to begin to work on that vision.
As CUI attempts to expand online education offerings, Everett Rogers' diffusion theory provides a roadmap for adoption. Potential adopters like faculty move through 5 stages of what Rogers refers to as the innovation decision process. First, information about an innovation is obtained. An attitude about the innovation is formed. A decision to adopt or reject is made. If adopted, the innovation is put into practice. Additional information is gathered to confirm the decision to adopt or reject. Passing through the innovation decision process is not strictly linear, and sharp distinctions between stages should not be expected. An individual is likely gaining knowledge about an innovation during the entire process, but certainly takes definitive actions that move away from a strictly knowledge acquisition phase. It is these behaviors that characterize and place the individual along the innovation decision process continuum. According to Rogers, potential adopters form an attitude toward an innovation based on perceptions about 5 attributes of the innovation. Relative advantage. Is it better than what is already being done? Another is compatibility. Is it compatible with existing values and needs? For instance, Bruner found that some faculty considered online education incompatible with the mission of the institution. This is an especially important attribute for CUI, given its Great Commission mission. CUI faculty member Tim Schumacher gives his perspective.
Online education is compatible if intentionally done to support the mission. I have this concept of the cross in the classroom that I've been thinking on a lot lately. The idea in a traditional Christian classroom, there's typically a cross on the wall. Some call it the silent witness. My concrete example is this current term. I'm playing with an idea of one of the buttons in the navigation menu on the left side of the main course menu has a cross on it. Nothing else, just a simple little cross. Students are free to click on it if they are motivated to do that. They might ignore it. A student in my course this term had a mother that passed away. She had been caring for her and knew that that was happening, that her mother was going to be passing away probably soon, and it happened a couple weeks ago. I got an email from that student on the day of her mother's funeral that said she had gone to the cross in the classroom and so much appreciated what I had there. It was a video of the singing of the hymn, "O Sacred Head Now Wounded." And she said that meant a lot to her to have that there. So that was an intentional attempt to hang the cross in the classroom. And a lot of people probably aren't clicking on it, but somebody did, and it made a difference. And our mission is being carried forward through things like that.
The remaining three attributes include complexity. Is it too difficult to understand and use the innovation? Trialability. Can it be tried first without mandate or consequence? And observability. Can the results of implementation be easily seen? Barriers to implementing online education are well documented in the literature. They may be related to institutional factors, technological issues, financial costs, or pedagogical beliefs. Most barriers are related to institutional issues. Lack of faculty release time and concerns related to allocation of faculty workload are prominent barriers to faculty adoption. The overall time commitment, from training to course development to instruction, is perceived to be more for online education. Here's CUI faculty member Malia Hoffman.
I think that the time invested in designing an online class, I feel like there's a lot more. And I think that maybe it's not necessarily that there's a lot more, but there's a lot more front end. Because you have to describe and adequately put down into words, into print or podcasts or videos or whatever you're doing to push that instruction out to your students, everything right up front. And so that way it's organized and so the students have a clear path as to where they're going.
Another institutional barrier can be unclear policies or no policy at all regarding copyright and intellectual property.
We've been fortunate enough to, I think, really kind of be ahead of some of these intellectual property issues. You know, I think one of the things that we've done well as a team in developing courses is be very upfront and talk contractually about what the intellectual property really is.
The lack of financial resources to meet the costs of implementing online education is a barrier to adoption. Leadership must allocate resources in such a way that promotes adoption.
I would start with the allocation of resources to personnel. So it takes a team, any kind of course development or program development, moving courses from traditional or hybrid to online, takes a good team of people. I've been fortunate enough that when I started in July, you know, within 2 months I had a team of 3 people. And they're awesome. You know, they work well with faculty, they are experienced in course design and professional development. They go out and build the relationships and have the conversations and talk about intellectual property, and they're really kind of they're the feet on the ground, you know, getting faculty to a level of comfortability in the process that we're going to take them through.
Negative faculty perceptions about the quality of online education inhibit participation. Other pedagogical barriers include perceived incompatibility with a discipline and the desire to experience traditional face-to-face student interaction.
I do feel that we have faculty who are a little reluctant to move online totally, only because they feel that they would miss the face-to-face. You have an ambiance, I believe, is their perspective, that you don't get with an online format. But they do like being able to move around the room, being able to do things within that room for pedagogical teaching moments.
Institutions seeking to implement online education would do well to embrace Everett Rogers' diffusion theory in conjunction with the known barriers to distance education. This video has briefly touched on these topics in the context of implementation of online education at Concordia University, Irvine. Thanks for watching.